Hi, my name is Tom Dale, and I'm going to be giving a talk on optimizing images in the JAMSTAck with a focus on how to accelerate your page speed performance. So, if you're not aware, Google came out with a new update called Core Web Vitals, and it focuses on three different categories: largest contentful paint, first input delay, and cumulative layout shift. For this talk at Jamstack, I'm going to be focusing right now on largest contentful paint and how to optimize that section of your site because it's often a hero image. What we're seeing is the LCP. Some things to really think about when doing this is that image properly sized? Is that image being served in a next generation format, like maybe WebP or AVIF? And is the image even being properly encoded? So to dig into that, I'm going to show you a live site example, and we're going to do some page speed tests, and I'm going to show you what it might look like. So here I have an example app, and I'm going to run page speed insights on it. So this does a run on mobile and desktop, and it's going to identify some key opportunities to improve your site. And you also see some emphasis on a couple of those core web vitals as well. So if I look at the desktop side, I did intentionally make some of the images the wrong size and not serve them in the right formats, just to show the error that you might see. So if I focus on some of these, you'll see that the major penalty here is the properly sizing images. And then next to it, you do have the next gen formats like WebP and AVIF. So if you do want to identify what your largest contentful paint is, you could look right here. So right here is actually going to identify it for you, but it's in this example, it's going to be pretty obvious that it's going to be this largest image, this hero image right here. Now, if you're seeing this error over here or seeing this issue, you can really dig into the image and find out more about it on the site itself. So if I go right here and just click inspect, let me pull this out of here to make this a little bit easier. So when you hover over the image, you're actually going to see what size it's being rendered at. And you can see right here, it says 588 by 392. What that's actually referring to is what size it's being rendered at via the CSS, okay? But just because the CSS is displaying this image that size visually, it doesn't mean that's what size the image is that's being loaded. So you can see right here, the size of the image that's being loaded is 4898 by 3265. So that image is humongous, right? And that's why it came through right here as being such a negative right here. It's 1400 kilobytes, and you should be able to easily drop, almost all of it, right? It's just way too heavy. If you just do the open image and new tab, depending if that works on your site, you'll see the image here as well. I can zoom in. This is literally how big that image is that I'm putting in there. Obviously this, you might think this is pretty silly that I'm doing this, but people do this on accident. But I really just wanted to emphasize it so you could see that here it is, and that's how you can identify it. So if we want to correct that, let me show you the code for the site, and we can actually just fix the issue and deploy it and right away see how that could affect the score. So I'm loading the site in Nuxt, and this specific image is right here. Image, just referring to the large image, right? So depending on what service you're using, there's a lot of different ways to do this. I could just do a simple idea of with Imgix. If you change items in the URL, it will actually serve a different size image. And it just does it on the fly, right? So we can see this. Let me open up this in the local site, and you could just see it take effect. while this opens, let us talk about this idea that just because I've served one size, that's not going to be a this size fits all, right? Because as you move the side around, you do see that the image does change sizes as it goes, and when it hits mobile, it's different size there. So the 600 size isn't going to fit every scenario, right? So we already know this isn't going to be the best solution, but just showing you the idea that now when I changed it to a 600 wide image, you can at least see that the rendered size is 584. The intrinsic size is 600 by 400, right? So now if we just push that one change, I'll just push it up real quick to GitHub here. So we're just making the change of that one size, update width, and this will push it to Vercel, and we'll see the update in the site in a second. While we wait for it to build, we can talk about what really is the better thing to do than just adding a width. So depending on what service you are, there's a lot of different options. For Nuxt, they actually have a component built in called Nuxt Image, and you can actually declare what service you have. We have an integration for Imgix. So if I were to change this, I could simply change this to Nuxt Image, declare the provider, Imgix. I think there is, I'll want to do this fit. And the last thing I'll want to do is declaring an aspect ratio. And now we can just look and see what this made, right? Oh, it's a broken image. Oh, it's because I don't need this domain anymore. And I don't need this anymore either. I believe that'll be fine now. Let's see. Yep. Okay. So now when I inspect it, you can see that it's actually made a responsive design, choosing a couple different source sets. So that's going to fit our use case really well. Okay, so this site should have deployed the update now. Let's just double check. I'm going to open the image in new tab. We do have the smaller image now, right? So let's see what the page speed score is and how it'll change. The other item I mentioned that was important for changing is actually adding the next-gen image formats. So the way you can actually do that with Imgix is by adding a parameter that would intelligently switch the format for each browser. It's really simple to do. Okay, just wanted to see here. We have a 77. Now it's at 89. Big change, right? 77 to 89. You can now see the properly sized images portion right here. It's gone from something humongous, 1400 whatever, to this. Now we go down here. That one isn't even showing up anymore. It was artsy 3, and you can see it's not there anymore. And we have this largest contentful paint, 1.1 second. Over here, 2.2 seconds. So this big change of the score is simply just because of increasing the largest or lowering the largest contentful paint by properly resizing. So just a real quick, simple demo of that to show how you can change that. Let me go ahead and just, again, there are lots of image solutions out there. A lot of them can work to help solve this solution. The one I did show you was Imgix. I do think it's a really great solution you should try using. It's free to use. It does include image management, rendering the images, optimizing them, and then delivering them via fast CDN. It's really simple, like you saw, to work with Nuxt in this example. So go ahead and sign up for a free account at imgix.com. Check out some videos on our YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. Thank you all so much. It was great sharing this with you during JAMSTACK.